Hello Tech Genius, I am Ravi. Have you ever imagined a place where learning is as dynamic as the technology shaping your world? Then here's a deal. With iMatix, you can make sure the learning is exciting, impactful right from the beginning. You have interactive sessions with expert-led courses. In the world of tech, from data science to cloud computing, it's not just about a session, it's about doing, building, learning by solving real problems. So let's get started. Today we will be talking about something interesting. We will talk about localization of your application. Localization, we'll talk about that. We'll see how to localize the application. Then how does it look like? We will verify whether the localization is worked or not. Like parallel development, here also a step-by-step process is involved to localize the application. But before that, let's see what this localization is all about. Now suppose let's take a scenario where you started your application. You started developing your application and initially you would like to serve the Indian community. Let's assume an insurance application that you have built and it is targeted for the Indian users. After a couple of releases, the response was good. The customers are liking it. What you do is now you start thinking about expanding your business. Correct. Now you start looking after other localities. Now maybe you might want the application to be catered for US citizens, or maybe for Eastern European countries also. The functionality wise, you start looking at the enterprise class structure, or you take the Indian application as a framework. You will build the other applications as implementation applications and whatsoever. You will talk about the situational layer cake and all. For the functionality wise, you will be able to handle it. But what about the local? Considering that the people's or the local specific aspects, like maybe date formats could be there, or time zones, or maybe currency related entities could be there. These things have to be specific to the geography or specific to the locale to make sure that people feel comfortable using your application, and they shouldn't feel the application is foreign or probably the application is not relevant. They shouldn't feel that way. What you do is you tend to convert the things on your application into language specific or locale specific aspects. That is what localization is all about. Making sure customers from each locale, they have to feel that the application is built. Put them itself. And it's not like some other application they're using. It is designed for that particular language, or it could be for their particular geography. We have a wizard that takes care of this localization part. Now, when I say localization, what do you think is localized? Is it the things that are displayed or know the rules, or is it the backend tables? What are localized in fact? The one which is displayed on the UI. Exactly. Be it the user labels, the field values, the options. The user would select the captions, instructions, or any tooltips that you have, or any paragraphs that you're displaying. All these things are what we localized using this wizard. The localization makes it easy for people to access the application. Let's see what process is involved here and how we will look at that wizard. With regard to the localization, is this one? One more question here. Is this localization? Is it for end users only or is it for developers also? What do you think? Is it only for end users or for developers also? I think it is for end users only, because go ahead. No, because developers will work on the PEGA platform and PEGA will not understand the localized tool. Know exactly how translate it? No, that's tricky here. See, even we can localize the application for end users, also for developers as well. In case if you have few developers working in the Eastern European countries, probably few people may not understand English itself. You localize the application for them, they can develop the applications in BTR, customer service representatives could be there. It is for developers also. Developers also we can localize the application. Because like I said, for the Indian community, I'm with my developers here. They are comfortable with English, but probably for Eastern European countries and all, they might not be aware of English. What would I do is I localize the application into respective language, Spanish or Russian, whatever, and from then they will take it forward to refine the application or develop the application. It is both for customers, service representatives and developers as well. Let's see how this localization is going to work. Like I said, there is a 4-step process on the localization, representing it through a simple diagram. Here is how you can localize its step. 1 to 4, here they are relating to exporting. Few entities know what are those entities there. You can select what language you would like to localize your application in. Then you can select the appropriate resets. Then what records are you looking for localizing? And then you export all this into a folder. This folder of this file, whatever you have, you give it to a translator. This is not a PEGA developer's job, but here an actual translator is involved. He is the one who looks after all your entities and he will translate them into the appropriate language. Once the translation is complete, then we have to import this back onto the application. Here for this importing part, we will import the rule sets in the translation pack, whatever is exported. The same thing would be imported back into the application environment. Let's see this in a step-by-step process. I think we'll directly move into the dev environment. We'll see how this is taken care. But before localizing, I think I'll add in some entities when I'll add some instructions or I'll add some paragraphs and all. Let me just log in. On and overall, if you see, it is just an export and an import. Exporting the language packs, translating it through translator, then importing it back into the environment. Let's see, let us. Let's see. Before directly looking at the localization part, I'll add in some labels or I'll add in some labels. Instructions. Because I would like to verify it whether the localization is working or not. I would like to add in some pass in a level 4. I'd like to add in directly on the sections, but I think I'll give instruction maybe. Some instruction. Then on the sections, I would like to add in few entities. I'll just convert this to a full section, editor. I'm going to add some static tests. Labels maybe. Let us just create one. I'm just naming it a sample. then the rest of the fields are anyways there. Now let's start the wizard. In order to have the localization wizard, you can do it from the configure. And any guesses where would it be and which category? Data model. No, this is related to your styling part. It will be available on the user. Then your application readiness, then your localization. In the localization, what are you going to do? I would like to translate this to a new language first. This is the first thing that would be configured. User interface readiness localization, translate to new language. From here we would start the process, as in which languages are you looking at for the localization. Which rule set would you like to localize? Yes, here the first thing is select languages. I can select multiple. I think we will choose Hindi. At least we can see locally localized or not. I would like to choose Hindi. Let me add. You can add in multiple languages together. Now, in case if you need any retranslation of, if there are already some existing translations and you would like to retranslate it, you can select this. But I don't have any, I'll let it be. And then I'll go next. Then comes the rule sets. Are you looking at specific rule sets to be localized? In case, if that is the scenario, I can select what all rule sets have to be localized. There might be specifications that only few things are allowed for localization. Probably I don't want my integration related rules to be localized. We can choose those things accordingly and then we can have it. For now, I will let all the rules that's been included. And I don't need PEGA rules and other rules to be involved. This is just for my application alone. We are localizing. And I don't think UIKit, I'll let it be because I assume we change few things on UIKit also. I'll let it be. Then this will enable the record. You can see how many records are enabled for the localization. This might involve your fields, the paragraphs, if at all any field values are there. All those would be enabled. Let me click. When we did select rule sets, do we create a new rule set entirely or do we use the previous unlocked version? This is just for selecting the rule sets. I mean when you export it back. Anyways, new rules it will be created for each of your language. You will have a new rule set and a version would be created when you export it. But during the import we would only select, which means which version of the rule set or which rule set are you going to localize. This is just a selection that we make here. No new version is not created. And about, if you're talking about whether this rule set, should it be locked or can it be unlocked? Yes, it can be. Either way, it is either locked or unlocked. It doesn't matter for this part here. Now Owen will go sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. 0001 will take this rule set and it will localize the rules which are there in this rule set only, or will it take 01, 03, 01 as well? Here, what happens is only the one that we selected will be chosen for localization. And that too, if you see, this has to be an unlocked version. If you think for this particular there are no unlocked rule set versions, then except for field values, no other entities will be localized. Can you please repeat that one? See now, whichever version that I mentioned here, it has to be ideally an unlocked version. But if it is locked by any chance, if you think that version is locked and you don't know the password, you're not able to unlock it, then except for the field values, no other entities can be localized. This would be enabled only for the field values in case if it is a locked version. Got? I think it would be. Let's see here, if you observe, Wizard enables records for translation and the next step only for unlocked rule sets. If it's unlocked, everything on that will be enabled. But if it is locked, then you will only see the field values. And if I have to do it for an entire application, not for a specific rule set, then what to do? Do we have to do a skimming and take all the rules in one set and give that rule set correct? Correct. Exactly. Exactly. It is targeted for one specific version only. You get a disadvantage here. But generally, the best practice we consider is the ones that's on the highest version are probably, like you said, that's skimmed and it has all the copies of rules. It's better we do it after skimming or just when you have your initial version of the application. Now if I just proceed further, now if you would like to enable the records, you can see what all records are enabled here. I can see successfully enabled is just one already enabled. I think these 6 are our field values that we have created earlier. And this one seems, I think, a paragraph, the one that we have just created, seems for that. All your code field names and all the instructions, they are also available. These are the ones that are specifically enabled for your field values and paragraphs. Let's see, let us proceed. Yes, the translation pack is ready. I can just download this. This gives all the, this is going to give me a zip file where you have an Excel sheet for the translation. I think in the meanwhile, let us have the Let us do an English in the Google Converter. Yes, seems like it is downloaded. Let me open the pack. If you observe, this is how the translation pack would look like, and you also get to see the language here. Let me just unzip it. Let me open this. I get to see some translation files in this folder. Let me open it, and here you get to see a text to translate. This is the XML file the system would look at once you import it back. Make sure this XML is not renamed. Let me open it and see what are things are enabled and what do I have for exporting, or sorry, what do I have for translation. Let me show why isn't this open using Excel sheet 1 minute, or let me open it directly from the Excel. I'm just trying to open our normal Excel sheet, and from that I'm trying to open this text to translate. Yes, this is how you can see the text to translate file, where you can see these entities, and if at all, a translation would be displayed on the column B. Then you can see C is the type of it. Is it an action? Is it a button? Is it an instruction? Is it label? You get to see these things. Is it a correspondence? Is it a paragraph you get to see? Now we can start the translation. Well, ideally, this job of translation part is by an actual translator. We wouldn't do it, but yet now, for now, I'm just going to do. I think let's start with the first name. Few labels will try to. I'm going to use a Google Translate for this. First name Palanam. I'll just copy it, and if at all first name is there anywhere. First name is just there for one single instance. We will just do it for like 5 to 6 things for each of it. Seems like Russia is part of my. Sort of, we'll do it for this. It's there multiple times. Sign on. Fair enough. What do we do for instruction? This is the instruction on my first screen. And recruitment. I'll do the recruitment also, because this recruitment is what we will see in most of the screens. I'll do this. Let me show you that. Now once I click on this, it opens up another folder here. If you look at this in the translation files, once I click on the translation, you see this as a HTML. This part is like it's not directly from Excel sheet, but it's part of another translation. For example, I would like to change it. Suppose if I would like to change it, I can create an HTML with the Hindi font and I can have it on my translation tool. This folder from where I've got, I can directly use the HTML to make the changes, but it is not part of an Excel sheet just like other entities. It will be directly manipulated on the Excel. It's listed out as external translation. We will have to change it in the page itmo. We have the paragraph in English. Correct. They have to change the translation correct. In the translation, not in this. Here in the Excel sheet, we don't need to make a change, but it has to be on the HTML directly. You can save as this HTML. You can directly make a change. Things like this not being. I think I'll just save any normal one. Let me see if you will be able to save it as an HTML. I did you. What we do is we will create an HTML with the translated text like the or whatever localized language we want. We will call it translation tool. And that can be directly referred. On this external translation, we don't need to do anything, just that you click on it. You will point on to the translation tool, provided we don't change in any of those names. For example, if you look at send offer email, you will see the translation corresponding to that. This will be a separate translation file. On send offer email, I don't think we have configured anything. It is referring to the corresponding translation. To change, we'll have to just save this one to make a copy and then change in. Correct? Exactly. It is not getting edited. It's not being. I think I'll do a save as an HTML. We'll do something from this. My lab is on the Word and we'll see if we'll be able to see on the HTML. I'll try to do a save as into HTML. Let me see if that. Yes, but this time I'll try to name it as this and then I'll do a save as. I'll name it as some translation one. Translation. Yes, I see this in the text now. Now let me just go back. I'll delete all these things. Now earlier my translation consisted of something on English. Now we changed it to Hindi. Let us just check if it is referring. My Excel is referring to the one or not. If yes, then we are successful. My sample par is now. Let us see. Yes, now my sample para is, it is finding to the translation.html. Let us make some changes for this for few of these terms updated in the last days. If you observe, these are something that we see on the screen directly when they're not related to my transaction or something. But you see, they are all part of the panel on the side. You see the updates panel. You get to see that welcome to HR services application. I think this is on the section. This is another instruction. This comes towards the end of the transaction. I think fair enough. Anything else? We changed some. One. Let's do for create also. This is interesting. Wherever create is there, it is there as a window button label also. It is there as a window caption also. There's one more window caption. This is created by. I think fair enough. We have added almost about how many? Four. Let's go ahead and save this. Translation.ml to make sure it is not modified. Once I save it and go back to the folder and make sure all the other translation files are closed. And yes, my change is available. Now I'll zip it back. Yes, my translation file is available. Now I've exported the language package. I made some changes on the translation file. The next thing is I have to import this back onto my environment. For that, I'll go back. I'm here on this. Once I click next, once your export part is done, we will be importing it. You see all of the wizards in PEGA. They are just like your case instances. Here you see the work ID for this language. Localization is PXL1 and it says the translation is in progress. Either you can close it. It says PXL1 is in progress. You can close it. Import part is sorry, export is done. Let's do the input. Almost the same part, user interface, readiness, localization, but this time translation in progress. If you are doing multiple localizations, remember the transaction ID. In our scenario, it is PXL1. I see PXL1. The status is open. We are importing. The next thing, what it says is import Hindi translations. Let me open this. And let us import the zip file back on the application. And if you observe, you can create separate rule sets for separate languages. If you observe, see this HRs for Hindi, this HRs in for Hindi, there's XYZ. Both your organization rule sets and application rule sets are created separately for each language that we localize it into. If you want, you can create it as a new version. And in case if you need a separate rule set to be stored for your HTML correspondence, all those external links are available. Those things, if you want it to be stored as a separate rule set, you can. All your new language translations will be stored in HRs in the Zala 10. I'll get mixed. Upload the zip file. Yes, let me choose the file. And yes, my translation. Yes. You know how many translations are available and how many have been imported, how many have been skipped. On the Code Excel sheet, there are around 100 translations that are available, of which I think we did change around 12, or in between 10 to 15, we made some changes. I think we have imported 16. I mean, we made changes to some 16, I guess. Yes, 16 new translations have been imported, 96 have been skipped, whereas 0 had any errors. Let me finish this. Your export and import part is done. Now your application is localized. But how do I know whether it's correctly localized or not? Let's see that. Let me just close this. The wizard is complete. Now, in order to check the localization part, what I would do is I'll go back to the Configure UIDO application readiness, localization and locale settings. Now make sure the local settings are set to the respective language here. Yes, I chose India here. Let me click on Update. Now let us run the transaction. If you see, we changed the recruitment to Bharti. You see the recruitment is now modified here. I no longer see recruitment. Instead, I see the localized version of it. Let me click. If you remember, we changed the create label also. The localized one and even the recruitment, there are multiple places. One is a window caption. One will change. I get to see that here. Let me proceed. And in fact, you can even change this. Advance the case, you can change cancel. All these get. I think on the next screen we changed some first name, last name, own. I think we should expect those also to be localized if everything went. Yes, I still see Bharti and Krupya Jankar. I think this is part of the instruction that we have given. And then welcome to HR services. I think this we did not localize. I think this is part of this part of para. I think we did not. I think we did not localize this name. We did to the Hindi version where we changed the HTML. We created a new HTML file that is for sample para. Let's see. What did we change it to? We just changed it to welcome to HR services. I think this one, Namaste Swagato. We will see if this turns up in any screen. But otherwise, yes, rest of the things, my sample text, instructions and my labels. And then see here also, I still have create here and all of the create ones are updated. On the screen, we will not update any. Namaso. Let me change something on last screen again, the routing message. Correct that. Yes, the routing part. This message is also updated. We didn't see this. Run Excel. I think it is correctly pointing out. But see why it did not turn up. It is pointing on the translation only. But we can see it. Instead of this, I should be able to see that. Is there something that I should enable or something here? I think we changed create here also. We can see create here. The change that we made, even on the developer's perspective also. Yes, I can localize the application. What about why the sample is not localized? The section in which we have referred, the sample para can be opened up on there. One checkbox is there. If there is a property, there is a checkbox like localize one here. I don't think it is there. Paragraphs are enabled. I mean, by default, they are enabled for localization. Migrate all over, the application is changed now. Ideally, this sample para should also be localized. I don't see any reason why it is not being, because it is pointing to the translation file. And we have deleted the English one. I guess this is nothing to do with the finding the one, because the key, what is it looking for? Because we changed few things also. It is just pointing the hyperlink, that's all. It's not checking any keys and all, also just that the external file and from this folder is what it is for, and I think did it correctly. It's on the for this, looking for this. No, it is looking translation only because we see it on the screen. I think we had to change in the base. Maybe, probably because this is still like this. I think I will delete this. Instead of this, I think I'll use base, then maybe I have to export it back. Let's check if we can. But the wizard is already complete. It's taking me to the new export part again. That pixel 1 is considered complete. Longer imported onto the same thing. In progress if there's any. No, maybe the next time when I do it, we have to, I think, do it onto the. We'll just give that a try once. I need this. I have unlocked. I think this question now, that is, we did it for unlock. We had no unlocked rule set. It will take only field values for translation. That's what we think. Correct? Let's see. This shows this as unlocked only. I still see no one is unlocked. Maybe we will just try it for one last time. But one is unlocked anyways. Is it for another one? Is it for Charles? The other ones, errors enter XYZ, are these unlocked? Yes, are the others also? I think it is taking only the latest. These are also. On is even unlocked only. Now, even if we proceed also, it will not consider the paragraph. Even if we proceed, again, I think I have to change the paragraph and the section to localize 3D1 again, if at all. I would like to locate that paragraph thing once again. Probably I'll do it with this thing once again and I'll permit. But otherwise, rest of all the localizations were successful. I see all the button actions, then a few window options. Instructions to those who are all localized. I'll also localize all those things that you see on the screen. Wherever you see create, now I see the localized one. And your customer service representatives and your developers. Clear with this? And for that paragraph part, I will try doing it once again. I will recheck it and I will confirm. Otherwise, are we clear for today? Any questions? No questions for now. I'll try this one today. Maybe I can ask the questions. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.